Changing gears a little bit today about homeschooling Olympians, I had intended to come on and tell you a little bit about what is going to be inside. But instead, I want to speak to the heart of, I know that she's not alone. A mom emailed me this morning and she was basically in tears through her email, very long brain dump of how overwhelmed she's feeling, how behind she is, the burden that she feels in her heart to do something different. And she was like, I started this morning thinking, I need to email Bekki. And I just want to breathe encouragement to you. The reason that, now, as I look at the email of this young mom, I see the reason behind the tears it's pretty clearly from where I stand, and that is that routine is not set in stone, so there isn't a wonderfully predictable rhythm throughout the day, combined with this intense pressure from curriculum to do the next thing. And I need you to understand that curriculum does not run your life. Curriculum does not dictate whether or not your kids are a success or whether you're a failure as a homeschooler. Curriculum is simply a tool that you use to help educate your kids. But you could hide it all and spend today just doing a life lesson of how to make a bed, or how to clean a bathroom, or how to properly set the dishes in the dishwasher according to your standards and procedures. Homeschool does not need to be complicated. Once your kids leave the foundation stage of learning how to read, the basic reading, it doesn't need to be advanced reading, it just needs the basic reading. Once they leave that stage, you enter in this season of flourishing and fun. And if you're looking around and you're thinking, Bekki, we're not flourishing and we're not having fun, I would suggest to you that there are a few things that you can press the pause button on and then just take a step back and spend the next couple weeks just working on these areas. Number one, I'm guessing that you might not have a routine going in your family, in your life, in a way that gives you predictable pockets of peace in your day, quiet, activity bursting outside, order, meals, these types of things. You're so busy with school that you don't have time to lean into a moment of quiet. So focus on your routines. Number two, I'm guessing that curriculum is on your shoulder nagging you. My child's in 4th grade. My child's in 2nd grade. My child's in high school. Whatever your grade is, it's like this in your ear. So if they're in this grade, you must do these 4,500 things in order to call yourself a success. In your ear. Take the curriculum and set it aside. It is not what you need to do in your day. Instead, you look at your kids, you look at your life, and you think, what is it that we want to learn? What is it? Because they already know how to read. And you live in the age of supercomputers where information is right here at your fingertips. So learn something together. Be excited about something. And if there's nothing that's exciting to you, put the books away, put the dishes in the dishwasher, put on some shoes, pack a snack, and go explore your community. Within 10 minutes of where you live, there is something awesome. I don't know what it is. It could be a park, it could be a historical marker, it could be a museum, it could be a friend. Find something within your community and just enjoy it together. And then circle back later and see if there's more that you can do. The last thing is that I'm guessing, I talk to a lot of homeschoolers, and I'm guessing that you might not have your master homeschool goals in place. So many people are nagged by curriculum, but when I ask them, well, what are your goals? By the time your kids graduate high school, what is it that you want them to know? And they look at this curriculum monster on their shoulder and then they go, actually, I don't know. We don't have master homeschool goals. We're just doing the curriculum. So when I'm thinking through the lens of this homeschool mom that reached out to me this morning, and she's overwhelmed. She feels like her kids are behind, but her kids are little. They're 3rd grade, 1st grade, and younger. They're little. You're not behind. You're not behind. So she's feeling this burden of being behind. She's feeling this pressure from nagging curriculum, and life around her is chaotic. it's really easy for me, so from so far away, to say, just take a step back and breathe. Address the things that are causing chaos in your life. Lean into your routine, lean into your home. It feels like it's unproductive and a bad idea to hide academics, but to clean your house and to deal with chaos. But I can tell you from this stage in homeschool that it is the best thing I ever did. When I was pregnant with number 4, and I was overwhelmed with clutter up to my knees in clutter, and my husband brought in help. He asked a friend if his wife would come help me, and we spent 2 solid weeks dumping everything out of my house, putting it into bins and organization. She taught me how to organize things, and we put everything back into, we got rid of junk, we donated stuff we didn't need, and we then categorized things and put it into order. In that season of life, I got nothing else done. We even ordered takeout every day as we were just dealing with the chaos in the house. I have never regretted pressing the pause button during that season in my life, because it decluttered the chaos. At simple things in my kitchen, I had this hanging rack, and on that hanging rack, I had spoons and pots and pans hanging from it. Sounds like a really great idea, right? We were standing in the kitchen, and she was talking me through chaos. And she said, sometimes we don't even realize the effect that chaos has on us. And she stood me in the kitchen, and we looked into the dining room, and she said, just pay attention to how you feel right now. And then she took everything off, and then she hung coffee cups, beautiful coffee cups from there. And she said, what's the difference? And I went, I had no idea that visual clutter was causing me stress. And so I can tell you, if you look around your house right now and you have visual clutter everywhere, you will not regret dealing with that visual clutter, even if it takes you the next year of your life. One drawer, one space, one room at a time. Deal with the visual clutter. Because if you add visual clutter and actual clutter, like up to your knees, like all your cabinets fall apart when you open the door, and then you combine with the noise from curriculum and the noise online, it's crushing, and it makes it so that you can't breathe. So number 1, deal with your clutter. Number 2, look at your day. Just take a step back, and over the next 3 or 4 days, 5 or 7, depending on how chaotic your life is, just observe your day. What is your normal routine right now without any help or any coaching, without any changes? What do you normally do right now? Once you can see what you do and what you have, then you can start implementing, I should work on a bedtime routine, or I should create an after breakfast routine. You can't deal with the chaos in your life until you can see the chaos in your life. So number 1, clutter. Number 2, routines. Number 3, take a step back and start asking yourself this question. By the time my kids graduate high school, what is it that I want them to know? What is it that I want them to leave home with? Because I can tell you, it is not lesson 17 out of that grammar book. It is not page 47 out of the mathematics book, grade 7. It's just not. The goals of kids launching into life are things like, I want my kids to maintain their faith all the way through their life. So I'm going to share my faith with them in everything that I do. I want my kids to know their basic math facts inside and out, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, percentages, decimals, the stuff they're going to need. I want them to love to read and to fall in love with story. So I'm going to marinate with them in story for the rest of their life at home. And then I want them to be excellent communicators. I want them to be able to capture their ideas on paper, but also to be able to articulate what it is that they have going on in their head to their friend, to their family, or to a panel of people watching them online or on stage. I want them to be excellent communicators. Once you know what your master homeschool goals are, then you can start looking at your curriculum and start asking the no more hard questions. Does this thing help me get them there? because if it doesn't, it goes away. It has no place. Busy work in today is just more clutter. Our kids are inundated with data and information. Their screens are completely interactive. Not only are they listening to an online teaching video, but often they have a phone that's vibrating in their pocket because people are trying to communicate to them. They might even have another screen going with other types of things. You can't even watch a video online today without most of the time it popping up with, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? So they're used to this constant inundation of information. So we need to slow down. We need to make sure that we're not just taking a child that should be delighting in learning and then handing them empty curriculum that means nothing to them. Because if it means nothing to them, they're going to argue. They're going to complain. They're going to push against it. And it's not because they're against you. It's because they don't have the words yet to articulate this truth. Hey, Mom, this means nothing to me. I can see that it doesn't fit into my future, and so I think it's a waste of time. Is there something that you would rather teach me? Some skill, something that you believe that I actually need to know before I leave your house in 2, 5, 10, or 20 years? What is it that you really want me to learn while I'm still at your kitchen table? See, they can't say that. Instead, they break their pencil 42,000 times, or they need another glass of water, or they poke at their little brother, or they slump in their chair and they go, I don't know. Kids they just don't have the language yet. So that's my thought for today. Homeschooling Olympians is coming. It's almost open. I'm busy like connecting all the dots and doing all the things that are the busy work behind the scenes that need to be in place before I let everybody in. But it is coming. And the biggest thing that I see that Homeschooling Olympians does for people is that it unlocks their brain from these preconceived chains that hold them down and burden them. Our kids don't need more busy work. They don't need curriculum. They need our lives to get simpler and simpler around them so that we can enjoy them more and more and more. At the end, which is where I'm at, where you send your kids into life, you don't think, oh, I wish we did more math pages. You think, oh, I wished I hugged them more. I wished I went on more walks. I wish that we went and we just sat and picnicked out loud outside and talked about the things that are going on between their ears. I can tell you, because I have cried those tears recently, that you don't worry about the curriculum, because when they're 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, like my kids, you see them as stellar people. They're super smart because they've learned to think. They've learned to be learners. They've learned to be engaged. You don't miss the busy stuff. You don't miss it at all. And it doesn't affect their success in life at all. Hear me again. Curriculum will not affect their future at all, except it may steal their joy. And it may rob you of this amazing time that you have to build community, build relationships with your kids that are lifelong. So I'm going to encourage you the same way that I want to reach out and encourage to the mom that cried out to me in the email, that this homeschool journey is so much more about home and character and relationship and simplifying your life in a way that you can truly cultivate a child that loves to learn, that is curious, and that is engaged in their life around them. You did not decide to homeschool your kids so that you could sit at your kitchen table and say things like, go get your brother, I'm ready for your brother. Go get your sister, I'm ready for language arts. Go get your sister, go get the twins. That's not what you signed up for. You signed up for linking arms, building family culture that's strong and unbreakable, and exciting your kids so that when they leave your house, they're ready. They're flapping their strong wings. They're independent. They're excited. They're engaged. And they're confident in who they are and their ability to learn things. And it does not take curriculum to do that. So anyway, that's my big thought for today. Don't be discouraged. Don't. You're not behind. No, when you look at your kids, the reason that you might say my kids are behind or I'm behind is because you're listening to this guy, this curriculum, that the people that want to sell you curriculum that are really good at it, because they're like, oh, she's going to think, he's going to think third grade means that next year is fourth grade, and fourth grade means that the following year is fifth grade. So we're going to keep creating curriculum and keep telling them that they need to move on and they need to do the next thing. This voice is lying to you. If your kids can read, then you can lean into life and lean into learning in ways that just delight them. And that's what I teach inside Homeschooling Olympians. So anyway, have a great day. If you have questions, a better way to homeschool@gmail.com, and I will see you next time.